Bored between uploads? Want more walkthroughs and guides to watch? Do you have an Xbox? Check out the Machinima app located on your dashboard. There you can find hundreds of premium content for your favorite game. From the best live action films to the latest game trailers, the Machinima app is ready to show you what gaming has to offer. Now, on with the show. Hello, I'm Ash, and welcome to part 2 of the Perfect Save, where I'm playing Dragon Age 2 and making the perfect save so that whenever Dragon Age Inquisition comes out, I will have every single perfect save out there. Now, you're probably wondering why it took me so long, and I'll go ahead and say, I am in San Francisco right now. If you didn't know that I used to live, well, not used to, I normally live in Pennsylvania, but I was visiting California in order to go to E3, and now I'm in San Francisco waiting for Major League Gaming that's going to be in Anaheim, California. So, I am kind of back for a while, and I'll be just doing my standard YouTube grind. As far as E3 went, it was pretty fantastic. Now, a lot of people are wondering, oh, you know, what happened? Did you just get to see Dragon Age Inquisition? Did they have a demo or whatnot? No, there wasn't a demo, because what they are doing now is the game is coming out fall of 2014, so that is next year. And you're probably going, what? Well, if you want to, you can check in on my channel. I have a whole breakdown of the actual trailer that came down, or that BioWare released, and it came out during the EA press conference, and it was actually really good. So I highly suggest it. If it's not on your screen, the little button for it, then I'm going to put it in the description. And yeah, so I'm back to doing this whole Perfect Save Let's Play thing. So anyway, what else? Oh, before I forget, I'm continuing the little quick rundown I have here. You will all also, I can't speak words, you'll be seeing more content from my team. I am on a Call of Duty team, and we're not going to be doing Call of Duty content per se, but with Team Valkyries, we're going to be doing this whole thing. And I don't know if by the time I release this video, the announcement will be out, but if not, there's an announcement coming out. If it's already out, then I'll just put it somewhere on the annotations. And how this helps you is that you get a, well, I'll get that too. I'll get to that later. Anyway, at this point in Dragon Age 2, you're trying to get into Kirkwall, and the Ferelden, what's the best way of putting it? The Ferelden, I don't want to say stragglers, but all the refugees, there we go. They're trying to get into the place, and Hawke and his family are trying to get in as well, because their uncle, Gamlen Amell, should be in Kirkwall and be able to actually get them. Now, as the state of Kirkwall goes, it's basically, there is a Circle of Magi, which the Circle of Magi is basically a tower, or in this case, the gallows, where all the mages are being held, because according to Andraste, magic is meant to serve men, not rule over them. So, the huge conflict that's going to be happening is, a lot of it is going to be happening within Kirkwall. Now, that's the reason why so many people are so angry at BioWare, or at least the ones who designed the Dragon Age 2, because there's so much inside the town over the course of 3 years. There are 3 different acts, that's why. And there's so much conflict that happens within that, or in the Summermount and the mountains. Thankfully, I had the DLC, which at least you get a taste of Orlais. You get a taste of Orlais, you get a taste of, what else? One of the Grey Warden prisons, and then also, I guess you get a little bit more content because of Sebastian, but you don't actually get to visit Starkhaven or any of the sort. So, I say so a lot. So right now, it's just, I'm going through the gameplay, and it's pretty standard. The way that it is that you don't start off with a lot of different spells in the beginning. You'll be leveling up. And of course, the conflict's already done, the combat's already done, so I'll explain it next time whenever I have to fight. And right now, they're just trying to find Gamlen, aka the uncle of Hawke, and brother Leandra. Now, what happened here was that Leandra, in the beginning, she left Kirkwall with her husband. Her husband was a mage, and to be part of nobility, nobility or royalty? No, nobility. She was a noble at the time, and she left with an apostate. So that basically, they didn't disown her, but that's to be seen. So it's just a lot of backdrop and trying to figure out, oh, where do the Amels come from? Now, what is their history and all the like? One of the questions that whenever I was doing the Dragon Age Inquisition, well, Dragon Age 3 preview primer video was, oh, are we going to deal with a protagonist that is going to be another Amel? Because if you remember, whenever you're playing Origins, in Origins, you can play an Amel, specifically the human nobility. And actually, if you were to play the nobility, human, a noble human, either female or male, you're actually a cousin or of some sort to Hawke. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that, as far as like learning the different backdrops. But anyway, I'm talking too much again. I just realized that. I feel like such an asshole because, excuse me, my language. I feel like an ass because for the longest time, I didn't get to actually talk about anything, especially since I recorded the initial Let's Play before I was in E3, and it ended up being poorly done. So poorly done as in, oh hey, the video is stuttering. So this should be somewhat okay. I'm doing this on my laptop. I'm jumping a lot and I realized that, so I apologize. So it's just gonna be a lot of what happens is that right here Gamlen is basically giving them the idea of you can get into the city if you fulfill an indentured servitude for the course of 1 year, and you have to choose between Athenril, which is a smuggler, not on the status of the coterie, which the coterie is the, I guess you could say, a dwarven thieves guild, except for much more power. But you can at least, at the very least, choose Athenril or the other guy. I can't remember the name. It's going to be coming up as soon as I start asking Gamlen which one is who. What do you have in mind? Yeah, it's actually coming up. Talk to my contacts. I'm glad I have subtitles on here, just in case if you actually don't want to listen to me. So, I'm not sure if I want to just do a full... I might do the actual raw file of the Let's Play so that you can hear it in your own time. You can do the silent, you can watch a silent playthrough if you want. I'm thinking about it, and the idea of a movie playthrough, but if there are people who are interested in that, please let me know. There we go. Athenril is the smuggler. Dang it, I missed it. I was talking about other things. Oh, I am so awesome at being silly.
What can I say? Better here than nowhere.
Alright. Oh, there we go. The mercenary. There.
What kind of man is
okay. Miran, there we go. Now, of all of the playthroughs that I've done, I've actually never played for, or done the mercenary work for Miran. Now, I always thought that it was logically better to choose Athenril because she's only a smuggler. She's a fair smuggler, that's a better way of putting it. Whereas if you're a hired bounty hunter or sellsword, you would end up trying to kill people. And I thought, you know, moralistically, what's better, stealing from people or killing people? Well, you know. So I think for the sake of the perfect save, I will be choosing Athenril, because not only that, but there's a quest that comes up whenever you decide to play as with Athenril. Yeah, I think I will choose Athenril. As much as I want to check out the mercenary position, I don't think it's a good idea. So you get to choose between either one. It's in the courtyard. Miran's on the right, and of course Athenril is going to be on the left here, and going to be coming up. Now, pretty sure. Wait 1 second. There we go. Okay. Unfortunately, my Audacity decided to crap out, so I had to double back and redo that. So, we're back here, and I said that I was going to be choosing Fenrir, so I'm just going to initiate her conversation here.
Are you a Fenrir?
No, something that you won't be able to tell. I think, if I remember correctly, I changed it so that her face is slightly better in texture. I also changed some of the mods. I will put the mods, I think, in the description. It'll be much easier to actually go through. Oh.
I'd like to know more about what we've
Now,
been doing.
you don't actually have to go through the entire year, and
but we keep our fingers in a lot of pots.
you don't have to go through all the Thieves Guild quests and all the like, and actually, not Thieves Guild, Fenrir's Guild, whatever you want to call it. And you don't have to actually go through all of it for the entire year. It actually skips through all the way ahead. So, that's the good part about this, because Act 1 is pretty much just giving you a sense of where Hawke is,
I hear getting
what his background is, his family's situation, as well as introducing the characters, specifically Aveline and Carver. And of course, setting the stage for those people who haven't done Dragon Age Origins in the beginning. Now, I'll repeat it again, because it really does make sense, and also not only that, but you're at a huge disadvantage if you don't. But if you haven't played Dragon Age Origins, I highly suggest it. I know a couple of people were saying that, oh, why don't you play Dragon Age Origins? Well, the case for it is because it's gonna take a long time, especially if I'm gonna be doing multiple Dragon Age 2 saves, specifically with the Templars, or with the, I'm gonna have a, either warrior or a rogue Hawke. Probably a rogue, because I really like rogue, but it's much easier. Oh, and here we go. I'll do whatever it takes.
Tell me what you need done.
So it's a lot easier. This is just going to be a quick quest where you have to retrieve something from a merchant. I believe in the mercenary one, you had to actually either kill the merchant or do something like that. Oh, and I also have to apologize because I'm in San Francisco and it's in a very populated area. This is not my place, obviously. So, you can potentially hear what's going on outside. So I have to apologize in that. Alright, so, something you also note that I am using a specific, specific outfit attire for Hawke. I'm going to cheat a little bit during this game, as far as, like, using different items, but it's going to be as close to the narrative as possible. Reasoning for that is because I'm going through the entire DLC, and I've done this a million times.
I've already told you.
Oh, mirror face. It's not that I'm doing this a million times, but it's because I'm going to do every single side quest and making sure everything is perfection. The problem is that I'm not sure if it's gonna take, how many episodes of this is going to take. It's probably going to be a good... I think I can finish the entire game, given that it is on its easiest setting, or the like, within 25 hours, because the DLCs do take up a lot of time, especially with the not the legacy one, Mark of the Assassin. Mark of the Assassin, I felt, to do all the side quests, especially for finding the Wyvern, it's slightly disadvantageous. So, and especially because I'm talking over this, I take more minutes than, I'm imagining every single episode is going to be about 28 minutes. 28 to 32 minutes, give or take. It depends. But I do like to get, Act 1 is pretty easy to get through. Once I figure this out, it's going to be towards the end of it. So this episode is going to be a little bit shorter than the normal things. I'm going to figure out, I think what I want to do is have this every single week. Oh, and I'm gonna have this every single week, and probably on either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm gonna plan it out so that I have consistent content. I mentioned earlier that I'll be doing content with my team the Valkyries. So there's also gonna be a bi-weekly thing with that. We haven't figured out the details, but I don't think it'll coincide or it'll conflict with this one. So it'll be very accurate. Now, Aveline.
Care to step in here?
The best thing I think about
Code deserves it.
the reputation, I guess, the reputation system that they have in Dragon Age 2 is that you can actually influence it the best by having you choose the character specifically. Like in Aveline, it's a specific, she handles the things, and then you get added points to her disposition, like friendship. On the bottom left here, you can see Aveline, friendship plus 10. The best thing I love about it, that they changed from Origins, is that once you hit the cap, it will just stay there. It will never go down. And I really like that because Carver is extremely hard to get all the way to the top, and especially playing with Fenris whenever he hates mages.
Done.
Alright, now I'm gonna go back here. It's a really simple quest, obviously. Just a lot of talking and the like.
You could
There
have
we go.
given us something more challenging.
I think
Will you look at that?
a lot of people were kind of, oh, how come BioWare put so much into the combat? And the combat in this game is a lot more fun than it is in Origins. But the problem here is that everything is the same. You see the gallows like a million times within this game. But yeah, like you see this area like a million times, and it's just repeated. But the combat is actually pretty fun. So I think for me, like, I enjoy most of the conversations that happen within this game, and I enjoy that way more than the combat, even though the combat is pretty fun. So I think there's always like a negative disposition against Dragon Age purely because of the repeated environments, which I completely understand. It's completely warranted. However, I think personally it's a lot of fun, and I'm just going to continue on it as such.
Any luck?
Was there ever any doubt?
I'll speak to Zenro.
Oh yes, and I also have the Black Emporium, so you'll be able to
I guess we did
change. I'll be able to change the
it.
face.
We're here to stay, at least for a while.
And so begins the year.
No more running for our lives unless we really have to.
If only Bethany were here with us.
And Wesley.
Well, we're off to a fantastic start. Let's see what else this city has in store.
Thus began the champion's first year in Kirkwall. Word arrived from across the sea that the hero of Ferelden had defeated the Blight. But Lothering was destroyed. Kirkwall was the champion's home now. So he remained, paying off his debt, made a name for himself in the underworld. It was a busy year in the city. That's when the Qunari landed. A great storm had caught their ship and left hundreds of warriors stranded in the city, waiting to return home. That's also when the trouble began with the mages. The Templars had become very powerful under Knight Commander Meredith. But, most importantly, that's when I first met the champion.
Alright, so I think that every time Varric decides to talk, especially specifically in the different progressions, not progressions, but like in between the acts and all that, and whenever he decides to talk to Cassandra, I'm just going to mute myself and let you guys listen to it, because specifically it's more important in order to get that context. Now, I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I know people haven't played Dragon Age 2 before, and I want to at least give them the context. I also want to make sure that people understand what is happening within the I'm so mature. I also wanted people to listen to the conflict. Now, it's very specific on what context Varric gives, so.
The money from this trip could fix everything.
And I always thought this scene was just a little bit awkward. You get to meet Bartrand, who is Varric's brother. Now, Varric and Bartrand have a very business-like relationship with each other. Ooh, let me put this right, settle down.
My brother has a point. It's on his head, but it's still valid.
Oh, and something specific that I found, not found, but the creepy people that are just standing around, sometimes they actually mesh with, or they'll go right in front of the, excuse me, they'll actually go in front of the person whenever you're talking. So if that happens, don't blame me, blame them.
You can relax. After all,
I believe I'm going to be ending this playthrough early, but what I want to do is, after a couple of suggestions, not only do I want to talk less and give you guys a little bit more insight into the actual Dragon Age and the different people that are coming up, but I am going to be doing, there we go, I'll be doing background kind of videos and giving more of a description on every single person as far as who are the important players in Dragon Age, specifically Flemeth, Alistair, even Isabella and Varric. And I think I definitely want to start with Morgan at some point. This is the beginning of Act 2, so you're not going to be missing much, and unfortunately it took me so long in order to actually get to this point. And Varric and his chest hair. You can enjoy it on your own. But I do want to end with Varric and him talking about his deal and the way that he wants to work with Hawke. It's very much a plot point that, not a plot point, but like in the gameplay, you end up partnering with Varric in order to actually go onto this trip into the Deep Roads. And they don't need bodyguards, they need a partner. And I totally, my accent, my fail wannabe accent didn't work out there. But this is him just convincing. And I'm gonna go ahead and go through all of it.
That's right.
The conversation's pretty basic, and then it's him convincing you, oh hey, why not team with each other? And I'm gonna skip a couple of points because what I don't like about talking to Varric at the beginning, like right here, is that it turns into a repetitive, like once you get into the second point, after I click the one on the right here for the middle, it turns into him being more accusatory. So I'm just gonna skip through that. And what about Carver? I do feel kind of bad. Carver is the younger brother. If I remember correctly, Hawke is around like 31 or 32 at the beginning of the game. Don't quote me because I'm going to be completely wrong, I'm pretty sure. But Carver is somewhere in his 20s, and he's definitely a young one. So, let me put this one.
You're going awfully far out of your way just
to
hire another guard.
We don't need another hireling. We need a partner.
There it is. That's that's him saying in the accent that I wanted to replicate, but definitely cannot. But you have to find 50 sovereigns, which is 50 gold, and what you have to do within Act 2 is get everything as far as doing the different quests. Now this is also the act where you pick up every single one of your companions. You'll have Varric, which is quite obvious. You get to meet him. Also, you get to go back to Aveline, who becomes a city guard. You get to meet Fenris, who's fleeing from his slavers, who end up visiting Kirkwall. Anders is extremely important because not only do you have to meet him, but he's the one with the Grey Warden maps in order to go into the Deep Roads. You also get to meet Isabella by the middle of it. Let me do this.
I hope there's more to this, like how I'm supposed to get that much coin together.
Yeah, and of course I'm missing people. Whenever you decide to, do you remember, there's also, whenever Flemeth gives you a certain pendant in order to bring to the Dalish Elves of Sundermont, you have to also go over and you'll meet the second in command. I can't remember her name, but I can't remember the actual specific name, but you get to meet Meryl, and then at some point you can also I can also pick up Sebastian. Now I hate having Sebastian because he has this thing. He's like a very overzealous. He's an overzealous religious kind of type. But you'll be able to see him whenever I get to it. So it's probably the funniest as far as like all the companions together. If you ever decide to play this game, the pairings that I would suggest would be like Varric and Isabella, because they bounce back from against each other as far as like talking about different things. Isabella and Sebastian are really funny because she always hits on him. Actually, now that I think about it, Isabella hits on everyone, but Isabella and Carver in Act 3 is kind of creepy. Let me put this. So how could you help me?
What makes you so certain you'll be useful to me?
I know everyone in this city worth knowing. I can help you find
who else? Carver seems a little bit whiny whenever you have him in party. For good reason, because he's whiny. Bianca.
Your crossbow.
I can't think of who else. And I feel bad because although I really don't like having Meryl in my party. Now, she's a sweetheart, she really is, but she's just kind of, I keep her out, even though, like, she agrees with most of the things that I do. Not only because of her character is a very meek kind of character, but because she's trying to make the Illuvion. And the way that she attains her goal, I'm not going to spoil it just yet. The way that she attains her goal is not in my interest, I guess is the best way of putting it. You know, there's a huge part of this game is on blood magic, and the entire thing is blood magic. Blood magic, where's the line drawn? And particularly in Origins, there's a huge thing about blood magic as far as, like, there's blood magic that acts as a catalyst, and there's blood magic that's just used. And it's just meant to fuel it. Obviously you can tell I cheated on here, and Varric doesn't have enough. And I can pause it. But I'll go in depth on what companions I'll be using. So because I'm a mage, I'm obviously going to have a rogue with me, so I'm probably either going to have Varric or Isabella most often. And I'll have Carver as much with me as possible, but whenever Aveline, her quest line comes up, I'll definitely be using her a lot. I like Aveline's character a lot in this game, but the only thing is it turns into a lot of like, Hawke, I shouldn't be doing this, and all that. So, I'll get to it eventually, as in next episode. Hi, car in the background that I can hear. But I'll come back to it whenever I do the next Let's Play. And I'll try to move it faster, because I think the biggest problem is that I'm taking my time with it. And I don't want to do that, because there's so much content to do that I'm just going to be doing it every single week. Probably for until the end of the year, which I don't want to do, because I can actually, If you think I should stream this, let me know, because I think one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to do a full Let's Play of this game, and I wanted to do it because there's going to be on November 2nd, there's going to be the Child's Play marathon. You play for 25 hours straight, and you play a certain game for charity. Now, I wanted to use Dragon Age as my example. Unfortunately, I thought that Dragon Age Inquisition was going to be out this year, based on many of the developer sayings. But since it's not going to be, I may just knock it out the entire park during November 2nd. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to be playing as much as I can every single week as far as this Let's Play goes. And then whenever November 2nd hits, if I'm still doing it, I'll just finish the rest in that 25-hour period. So, if you want to see that, let me know. I've been debating it. I can just keep on making videos over it, but I can also just stream the entire way through and upload the whole thing. It's up to you guys, really, because I started this because I want to make the perfect save. I want a save where people will be like, oh, I can't play, I can't use my save because I missed out on a lot of things. Well, you know, you can use my save. You can use my Hawke. So, I'm going to try that. In any case, I'm going to end on here. And, if you have any feedback, please let me know, because I was really happy whenever people started talking about how I can improve my Let's Playing. Now, obviously, I'm really bad, and I'm already out of breath, and I'm not used to talking to myself in a room and all that jazz. So, let me know, and I'll be back next week, or hopefully sooner. Okay, take care, everyone.